What's up, guys? Welcome and thanks for joining another Warhammer 3 casted replay. Today we have a land battle between myself on Tzeentch versus Alonsda on the Warriors of Chaos. Playing on the map Gazan. Alright, let's take a quick look at both of the armies as we always do. For the Warriors Chaos, we have a front line of Marauders of Khorne with dual weapons and Chaos Warriors. 3 units of the highly armored and shielded Chaos Warriors. These guys are very, very beefy. No armor piercing or magical attacks, but just very good flat stats and very beefy. So 3 units of those in the front, flanked by a couple units of Marauders of Khorne. In the back line, we have 2 units of Chaos Trolls armored. These guys are armor piercing, pretty low leadership, but they do have the armor piercing, really high weapon strength, and very highly armored as well. So just trolls, and they also have regeneration and stuff and all the other troll features. In between those guys in the back, we have a unit of aspiring champions. These guys are really tanky, 120 armor, silver shields, magical attacks on these guys, and with the low model count, it makes them very, very tanky. Each individual model has quite a bit of HP, so they are hard to take out. Over in the back left flank, we have a unit of dragon ogres. These guys are armor piercing and anti-large. Definitely would be good against something like a soul grinder or some kind of big cavalry units that I would have for something like that. That would definitely be the kind of target they want. And way over in the far right flank, we have a unit of Nurgle's Rot Knights. These guys are very, very good cavalry. They're very expensive as well. Armor piercing, anti-large, poison, highly armored, and they also have regeneration. So these guys are, just went through the map a little bit. So these guys are really good cavalry, and riding along with them is Archaon the Everchosen, running with, I believe he has, yes, Spirit Leech. The only spell he's going to be bringing, and he also has Transmutation of Lead, reducing melee attack and weapon damage. Alright, for myself, we have a front line, well, not really my front line, but my skirmishers, a couple units of Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch, just your basic Marauder Horsemen with with javelins, and actually I don't know if these guys are javelins or what these guys throw, or throwing axes, but anyway, they do fire damage and magical damage, also having Warp Flame to lower the armor and give a little bit of weakness to fire, so very good, especially with the shields on top. You can kind of dip in and out and get quite a bit of damage off. For myself, we have a front line of Zangors, 4 units of those, backed up by 4 units of Blue Horrors of Tzeentch, and then 3 Pink Horrors of Tzeentch in the very back for my range damage. Kind of my little elite units here are going to be my Lord, just running a Herald of Tzeentch up on his flying disc with Blue Fire and Infernal Gateway. Just because I figured they'd have some highly armored units, so Infernal Gateway would be good for that, and Blue Fire just to shoot at his Lord. 1 unit of Screamers of Tzeentch, anti-large, armor piercing, just a good little flying unit to have around with my Lord to help bail him out or to chase down low units. And we also have a unit of Changebringers, massive fire damage. These guys are basically like a little flying artillery piece. They only have 10 ammunition, but they do massive fire damage, massive warp fire damage. Just have to be careful how you use them because they are short ranged and susceptible to any kind of like fire from the ground, archers or skirmish cav or anything like that. But as you can see, luckily my opponent doesn't have any of that at the moment. So without further ado, we will begin the game. Starting off, we just use our Marauder Horsemen to poke around at the front line a little bit, but we did see the Dragon Ogres, and that is where we are headed with these guys to go get some poke and damage on those as early as possible. Guess they throw, yeah, it looks like they have javelins. I'd say they throw javelins. Little magical Warpfire javelins. There we go, gonna get a nice volley off on these Dragon Ogres. Nice big target, and not gonna engage at all, gonna definitely back up since we can fire on the move. Archaon and the Rot Knights are trying to get a big wide flank over here on my left. We do see them. We're going to send the Herald of Tzeentch over to support and send some units that way and start adjusting here shortly. Still going to skirmish away here over with the giant dragon ogres, but we did bring in our changelings for a little bit of support and warpfire support. They did get a couple huge volleys off just as they walked up and did some pretty massive damage to these guys. So going to use the changelings, changebringers, sorry. They have low ammunition, but it's crazy good, so using those on the more elite units for sure. Screamers of Tzeentch, they're going to come over to my back left flank where the Rot Knights have got onto my back line, jumping onto my pink horrors of Tzeentch, Archaon getting onto the blue horrors. I'm not too worried about that too much. I did get a Spirit Leech go down on my Lord, taking off his shield, but it's more these Rot Knights in the back line that are going to be a big problem. We turned a bunch of our pink horrors and other units to come in and help support that. Front line comes together. We have Chaos Warriors and Zangors fighting each other, along with Marauders of Khorne, dual weapons, fighting the Zangors over here on the far left and right flank. Middle's going to hold for now with a little bit of Marauder support. We were able to run off the Dragon Ogres, but they are going to come back. That was just their first route, so we are going to keep an eye on them and keep those Marauders over here just to make sure they can't get in on my right side as well, because the back line has been thoroughly disrupted. He got right on top of 2 units of Pink Horrors here with these Rot Knights, and he's heading over to hit a third, along with a little bit of support from the Chaos Trolls, who just busted through on this right side through my Zangors, along with the Marauders of Khorne. We did fight back and push back the Marauders, but can't stop these Trolls and these big bodies getting through to get onto my Pink Horrors. But we do have the Changebringers flying around uncontested, getting some huge volleys into these Chaos Trolls and the Rot Knights, which will keep them from healing. These are both regeneration units. Archaon just running around trying to cause a little more mayhem, helping break the front line. I do have a unit of Forsaken. I think I must have forgot to mention these guys. I did have a unit of Forsaken here, and I put them on the Aspiring Champions just to hold them off as long as possible. More big volleys with the Changebringers coming in, hitting these Trolls. They're now getting sandwiched a little bit with my Marauder Horsemen, taking a ton of range damage that they just really can't answer, coming from too many different directions. So that felt good. The Rot Knights, Chaos Trolls, and Dragon Ogres all being run off basically with my Changebringers and Marauders doing most of that damage. Backline now stabilizing. Luckily for me, we do still have our Pink Horrors. Their shields were broken, but they are recharging, and we are reforming a little bit to get some big damage down on Archaon right through the middle. He still has his Aspiring Champions and some Chaos Warriors holding that middle that we can't really break, and we're going to have to be careful and start kind of rearranging and kiting back a little bit as he pushes in. Over on the left, it went pretty well. We did break a unit of his Chaos Trolls and Marauders. They are breaking and running off, but they are coming back now, and we still kind of have to hold. We have Archaon surrounded here by some blue horrors. They'll chip away a little bit, getting some nice shots off of my Lord as he answers with a Spirit Leech on top of me. But luckily my shield just keeps regenerating and eating most of the damage from the Spirit Leech. So it's working out really well having the Flying Lord in this particular matchup. More fire support coming in for the front line. I don't know if I'm hitting more of my own units or not, or yes, sometimes it feels like I'm volleying my own units, but it's kind of hard with the terrain to get clean shots all the time. Forsaken are back now. They were routed off, but they do have their shields back with a little bit of HP, and they are going to come back and help support these Pink Horrors, because this is my main damage now at the moment. I believe my Changebringers are, yep, they are out of ammunition, and we still have some pretty beefy infantry to deal with. 2 fairly healthy units of Chaos Warriors for this point in the game, and Aspiring Champions, who, as you can see, don't take like a ton of damage with their shields and stuff from my ranged. But we're going to have to keep spreading out and kiting back and using what we have. On the flanks, we are getting them cleaned up. They are going pretty well. We do still have these Chaos Trolls, but we have enough stuff out here that I think we can hold them back for now. Zangor's coming back to support. Middle really getting pushed in hard. Have to keep spreading out. Another blue fire going down on Archaon. Clipping my own units a little bit, but that's just the way it goes. We do still have our Screamers of Tzeentch perfectly healthy. They were out running off Dragon Ogres and some of the other Rot Knights and things like that, chasing them off the map, while my Marauder Horsemen came back in on the right side to help support my ranged units and whatever was back here. Now, these guys, I think, are basically out of ammo as well, so we're just going to use them as cavalry now and get some rear charges off on these Chaos Knights, who are proving very difficult to get off the field. Along with these aspiring champions, there's only a few left, but the models that are there are just very, very tanky. Archaon just trying to do his best to disrupt my ranged and my backline, which he has been doing well, but we still have all our pink horrors, and that's huge at this point in the game. Able to get volleys off on these trolls, making them rout again, affecting their leadership with the fire and whatnot, while my units begin to rally in the backline a little more. Changebringers, just using them to do a little cycle charging while their shields come off. Now we have a tier 3 Tzeentch army ability coming in, my massive magical bombardment, getting catastrophic damage for this point in the game off on these clumped up Chaos Warriors, so that felt like a really good target. One of the bigger threats still on the map. We use our Lord and our Changebringers to kind of cycle charge these aspiring champions, trying to finish those off as we kite back with the pink horrors. Archaon now has his chance to get my Lord on the ground, and in one charge he takes off my entire shield and a quarter life, along with dropping a Spirit Leech on me, so we need to get out of dodge and get back in the air. We will not survive on the ground for long at all. Still's unit of quarter life Chaos Trolls, they're coming back in, going to try to threaten my left flank here, but I think we have enough stuff there to deal with that. The Chaos Warriors still hanging in there after that massive bombardment, so we continue just to cycle charge and use our mobility to great advantage in this case. Pink Horrors getting some really nice shots on Archaon and the remaining aspiring champions. As long as I keep keeping these guys spread out, I'm able to get angles of fire from multiple directions, so luckily he just can't deal with that as he's getting less and less units, and we'll just speed it up a little bit. These trolls are going to come in, but we still have the Xancors here to answer that charge, and they even get a little volley off with the pink fire, so Archaon getting low. We did have to bring my Lord way back out of the way just so we could recharge the shield. He was too low. He couldn't take another big Spirit Leech or something like that. Didn't want to risk it just in case. And from here, it's just a little bit of a grind to take out the trolls, and it was just Archaon left, but we still had lots of units and lots of abilities to use, so we ended up winning that one. It felt very good. Of course, in that matchup, he had no ranged units and no flying units, so it couldn't really have gone better for me in that regard, but it was still really hard to take out all these elite units. They were very, very chunky boys, and eventually even all my flying stuff and the advantages I had, they ran out of ammo, so very GG to my opponent. Let's take a look at the values real quickly. 1300 on Archaon, not too bad. Lots of Spirit Leeches coming out of him. Chaos Warriors not getting a lot of value as far as killing, but they just held forever. They were just there forever, and it felt like I could never take them out. Same thing with the aspiring champions. They were very, very tanky, but they did end up getting a little more damage, about 1,000 value on there. Rot Knights did not get too much. They did disrupt the back line and take out the shields of like all my pink horrors, but luckily with the Changebringers we were able to deal with those big elite kind of cavalry. Chaos Trolls doing okay, kind of helping disrupt and break the back line, but they did rout very easily with their low leadership and getting hit with so much fire. And Dragon Ogres were basically irrelevant with the between the Marauders and the Changebringers hitting them. They were dealt with very well. My little Herald of Tzeentch doing a nice job, getting about a little over 1,000 value. That's pretty nice. Changebringers getting huge value, almost 2,500. Blue Horrors, they were doing alright, got a decent amount of damage off and helped hold the front line. Xancors coming in really nice with their magic attacks, being able to actually damage and hold against his front line for quite a bit longer than I expected. Same thing with Forsaken. And the Pink Horrors of Tzeentch were doing, doesn't look like big values here, but they were doing really good, lowering leadership and whatnot too. And my Marauders came in clutch there, dealing with his cavalry units and helping win the mobility fight. So GG to my opponent. We thank you guys for joining. If you're not subscribed, maybe click that subscribe button or check out some of the other videos, and thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. Peace.